Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pep Talks, and hopefully we're going live on YouTube. There's been some glitches here today in the internet world. Facebook is down, which I have to say makes me happy. Facebook being down and Instagram being down makes me happy. How about you, Steve? My co-host, Steve Lally, is here.
Hi, everybody. I fantasize about these kind of things. I fantasize about Facebook and Instagram. Some people think I don't do well on social media. I don't have a good social media game. What am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my life? And I'm just telling you, when these kind of things happen, it gives me a reason to say,
told you so.
Let it all fall apart.
Let it all fall apart. There is a part of us, is there not? And I'm talking to you, the audience, you cowards who are not in show business. And you know how I feel about that. I just want to say that I forgot what I was going to Welcome to the Dementia Podcast, where things are started but never finished. No, but there is a part of us. Now I remember. I was buying time with that little voice, but there is a part of us that wants things to completely fall apart so we don't have to answer to authority. Yeah, you think it's that?
Yeah, that's me. That's my worst part, my worst fantasy. That I just don't want to be blamed, so I just want other people to take the blame for the collapse.
You don't want to be blamed for what? Your life?
Anything, yeah.
I think for your life you're talking
about. That's exactly right. For my social media presence.
Steve, we got a call that we're going to play later where a gentleman from New Jersey was saying that Steve has to up his media presence, social media presence. But yeah, so anyway, Facebook is down today and Instagram is down. And it bugged me a little that Instagram was down because I've been connecting with someone on Instagram, and so that connection was severed today. So I guess that's when it hurts, when these mediums are your only way of connecting with certain folks. By the way, do you see what this T-shirt says? Do you see what this T-shirt says? It says, "Stop making stupid people famous."
Too late.
And I, too late, yeah. But I've been walking around the street, not to brag, with this shirt, and a lot of people have gone, "Really like the shirt, man." And it just picks up my day, you know, when people are like, "Really like the shirt," and my ego is like, "Yes, I am the one."
Other people understand me. That's what make me feel good.
So yeah, so Facebook and Instagram are down, and that makes me happy too because they're monolithic, they're huge corporation. Well, it's one corporation because Instagram is owned by Facebook, and vice versa. So yeah, Facebook, you know, which I am on because I'm trying to, you know, be a presence social media wise. Facebook has been, you know, complicit in a lot of shit, you know, sharing information they shouldn't be sharing, right?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take on Facebook?
I fantasize about the day that I never have to use that again, that I can, not only that I disconnect it, that I convince others who are close to me to disconnect theirs. It
can be a tool if used right, but if Mark Zuckerberg is using it to like sell information, you know, it's just, you know what's really disgusting, folks, is the constant nonstop consumerism of every fucking thing. Oh, one of the cameras is out, by the way, Emma. Yeah. One of the cameras is out. Okay. This one. Anyway, folks, that's just a little inside show business for you. I drove back the curtain. One of the cameras is out.
How do you know the camera's out?
Because the light. You see the two lights?
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so... yeah, so the Zuckerberg thing and selling information, and here's the thing that I wanted to say that's really disgusting is the just complete and utter fucking consumerism that goes on, and the marketing and the target marketing. So, Facebook is part of that bullshit where, you order something online or you click on something in Facebook and they know your preferences and all that crap.
But do you think maybe this, like, more so, remember when TV was invented in the late 30s or whenever the television was invented, late 40s, I don't remember.
I think it was
late 40s, 47,
early 50s,
something
like that.
By
a fella named Farnsworth,
right? And Hollywood got together with the politicians in the intelligence community, and they said, finally, Americans can see what their neighbor has that they don't have. That was the statement. That's what the big thing for television was. They were going to keep up with the Joneses. They were going to have... So social media is like that on steroids and amphetamines. It's like we go on social media and we're seeing what everybody's doing that we're not doing. And it's...
That is true. That is true that it really leads to a lot of personal hatred. I wanted to talk about personal hatred today, because I've been battling that, and we I've been battling personal hatred during a butterfly migration, which is kind of, an oxymoron. Like, butterflies right now are migrating through Southern California as they head north from Mexico. And by the way, why aren't we building a wall to stop the butterflies? Why aren't we building a net? We should build a big net and stop these fucking butterflies from coming in and taking American butterfly jobs. And these butterflies, nobody knows who they are. A lot of these butterflies are violent. I know butterflies in general are not violent, but a lot of these butterflies coming from Mexico are just... the way they surround the plant.
No, there were car accidents on the 405. Because
is that right?
These Mexican butterflies, these fucking Mexican butterflies who,
Was there a car accident?
It's a liberal agenda. It's a liberal agenda to say that there's no violent Mexican butterflies. That Mexican butterflies are all kind and, they're hardworking. It's not always true. There's a lot of rapists.
How much can it cost?
Traffickers.
How much can it cost to build a net, to build a big butterfly net? But anyway, that was just a little, parody for you. But yeah, personal hatred or rage or depression. Again, our buddy Brody is gone, and that's really hard to take. And me and Steve both went to his memorial at the Comedy Store on Monday, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I'm bringing up Brody, well, not only because he's always constantly missed, and especially when we're here in the studio, but taking your life is just the final act of that self-hatred, right? Like,
I think it's spiritual warfare, man.
Spiritual warfare. Why warfare? Why the term warfare? What are you warring against?
Things that are hostile toward you as a human being that you can't see, and things that are hostile toward God all around you. And then people who are extra kind. This is my own personal belief, by the way. Not trying to
I believe
evangelize.
everything. Wait a minute. I believe everything is one. Like, you're saying things that are hostile to God, and I think everything is one. Like, everything,
it's all
like
connected.
It's an ocean. Everything is an ocean, and we're little waves, and everything is a wave in that ultimate source. So how do you explain that? Like, the hostile to God.
Like, the Brody was a guy who was extra kind and loving. He had dark stuff going on, but he was really fighting to be kind and positive and loving. And because he was being attacked. I think he was being attacked. I mean, that's my belief. That's what I think. I don't, need other people to believe that, but that's what I think. He was being attacked by something. He was fighting it with medication or however he was fighting it, and it overcame him and was too much, and he couldn't take it, and he went, and that's it. And that's what I think, and that's all I have to say. So.
Well, yeah, and the part that's very scary is not being able to take it. Like, wow, have you heard that saying that God only gives you as much as you can handle?
I have heard that. I don't know how to make sense of that, though, with Brody. That doesn't make any sense to me. It only makes me angry and sad to think about it like that, What do you think?
About what?
About
God only gives you
Yeah.
as much as you can handle?
Yeah.
I don't know because that would be refuted by that act. But then again, I mean, the thing, religion is religion. We're talking about spirituality because religion is organized. Like organized religion is not what we're talking about. We're talking about like delving into the depths of spirituality. And could it be that you have, like, I don't know, I guess things aren't just black and white, but you have to connect to love. You have to connect to love in this world. And what I want to talk about a little is I have rage. I feel my rage. I am very conscious of my rage. And what I do, and what Brody, I guess, did, is that I turn the rage inward, and I do things that are not healthy for me. And one of my biggest things lately is eating poorly. And I think I associate eating with pleasure, and I associate eating with love. And, that means that, and this all is also tied into what we could call the umbrella of addiction. Like you get addicted to sensorial pleasure instead of being connected to that larger, more calm vibe of love. And addiction and sensorial pleasure is a very kind of manic way to achieve
peace.
Right. But it's so temporary, and it is pleasure. That's what addiction is. And I listen and read to a lot of Buddhists, Zen Buddhists. What's the other one? I forget the other. Tibetan Buddhists. I was going to try to make a joke there, but about how we have to take the middle way, and also when you indulge in pleasure, that it always leads to pain, because pleasure and pain
are connected.
They are the same coin. And I think, and I know I do, I think I associate pleasure with winning in life. Like if I'm in a pleasurable state, as the great Charlie Sheen would say, if I'm in pleasure in my life, I'm winning. Winning.
I hate that. I don't even want to think that, because I don't want to now consciously think that whenever I'm in a good mood, like today, there's some bad shit coming around the corner
I
that's
think
connected.
your mood. Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. If your mood is rooted in love and like a peaceful vibe, you're fine. If it's this manic thing, like, oh, everything's going great, I feel good, that's when it turns into pain. But here's the thing about pleasure. The trap of pleasure is that you constantly, I shouldn't speak for everybody, I constantly want more of it. And by the way, this would be funny if this is what the anchors on CNN talked about. Like Wolf Blitzer just came on and says, our top story tonight, I have realized that pleasure and pain are one and the same thing, and that my desire for pleasure only leads for pain. Let's go now to Andrea Tibbetts in the field. Andrea? Yes, Wolf, you did realize that today, and I was there in the the lunchroom. Is that what they call it? The commissary. That's what they call, fancy lunchrooms. The commissary. They don't call it a fucking lunchroom because in lunchrooms is where
students.
You used to get your head beat in as a kid. Anybody else have a fight in the we used to in lunchroom in Brooklyn. It was intense, man. It was like there would fights.
How often did you have fights in the lunchroom growing up? Can you quantify?
I never had a fight.
No, but I mean, did you see them?
I saw fights in the lunchroom, which made me associate with food pain.
But you came full circle.
I came full circle,
and now you've overcome that.
There would be a fight in the lunchroom at least once every week or two, and they're just so intense. Fights in public are really intense because I think what they symbolize is the breakdown of society. Because when people get primal, at least to me,
not in teenagers in school. I mean,
no?
It's just part of an adolescent discomfort that people are just, and they're stuck together. Fucking kids are stuck together in a school. It's different when you're an adult. You don't have to see those kids 5 days a week. You don't like. You go to the comedy store and you see a couple comedians you don't like I did on Monday. You get to leave. And you never, what is it going to be? 6 months before I see him again, But you go to a school and you got to see those motherfuckers every day. And sometimes you're in classes together.
What about work? People go to work every day.
Yeah, but you can lose a job,
Right.
You can get another job. You have the freedom as an
That would
adult.
be funny if there was like fist fights in work once a week.
Commissary.
In the work commissary, like, hey, what are you putting your... And it would be stupid shit. Always stupid shit with kids,
You
right?
can't sit at this table.
Hey, you can't sit at this table. No, I am sitting. And then the kid who wanted to just say, fuck you, would be like, I'm sitting here and fuck you. Oh, really? You're going to sit here? That'd be funny if, like, it was adults. Like, hey, Harry, please don't sit at the table with me and Ted.
We're saving that seat for Jill.
Ron, I've had a long day. Please. Harry, I'm telling you, do not sit there. I'm going to punch your lights out. Is that right, Ron? I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, I want to get back to like the serious part of this, which is that Wolf Blitzer should talk more about this stuff and Anderson Cooper instead of Trump the reality show, which it is. Trump the reality show is what we watch, and now we're also being led to like little idiots watching the whole election thing unfold when it doesn't the election thing is superseded by the fact that there's just complete corporate dominance, and that is never addressed. So the newsmakers, give you the little, like the election is just this, it's framed as personalities,
They give you 20% of the truth.
Is that about it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing it up there. 20% of the truth.
Why did you come up with 20%?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good number, though.
Thank you. And the college thing coming apart, visibly coming apart.
Well, we wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about rage that I don't know where it comes from. And I guess I don't have to know where it comes from. And another thing that I always do is try to figure out why. And what is faith? Now, you're my go-to guy on the podcast about faith. What is faith? Can you describe that? Because I think I'm lacking in faith, and that's why I seek it, through lasagna.
Yeah. Well, I know the feeling with that.
Me and my Italian
Is
brethren.
it really lasagna? Vegan
No, I mean,
lasagna.
I love well, it's all vegan now, but I mean, Pasta is killing me
Dude,
lately.
you got to calm down with that. You got to stop with the pasta.
Pasta's killing me lately.
I got to get you. I'm going to try to think of some vegan options for you so you can wean off the
Well,
pasta.
I could think of vegan options, and I have to do it, you know.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it is funny how I ask everybody for advice, life advice, when I know, you know, even though it is good to go back and forth and talk about, well, everybody, you know, people are just, what I also realize is that, well, at least the people I know, they're smart, and the people you know are not that bright, but the people I know, I meant the audience, Steve knows bright people.
I know Eddie.
But yeah, but it's great to like exchange wisdom, you know. And when we went to that memorial for Brody, I felt one of the great things, you know, that has come out of this, and tragedy, right? And this is so tragic, but tragedy always has, you know, a huge lesson. There's always incredible lessons in tragedy. And this one is about, for me, community and how we're connected. Again, getting back to the thing that we're all connected. We're an ocean, and we're all little waves. And but we're all part of the same ocean. And in the comedy community is big. And it is competitive, so you can get, jealousies. People get snubbed, but you know what? At the end of the day, and I never use that phrase, but you know, when it's all said and done, it's about connection and love, and not being duped into this fucking narcissistic individualism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to not do. It's hard to not get caught up in it.
It is, and I think that's why we have sponsors. Our first sponsor today is a new one. It's called Prime Girls. Do you want to read the first one?
Oh, I would love Prime Girls. Sounds right up my alley.
Okay, here
I'm
it
a
is.
Prime Girls guy.
Okay. Prime Girls, read by Steve Lally, written by Matt Rasamoto, our producer.
And it's an honor to have something written by Matt Rasamoto to be able to read. Find your perfect online mate. That's right, online mate, Prime Girls. Are you interested in a wedding, free from dependence, or knowledgeable girls? In that case, these sizzling women are precisely what you need. Fulfill all their sexual desire by getting together with all these ladies, as well as providing them with the things they're struggling to find online. This is certainly an enormous group which usually isn't discussed widely, and it is for private dates only, and therefore you must hold privacy your number one priority to connect with these women. They will not imitate the gals you normally date. These gals are going to guide you toward things you haven't actually heard of. If you're looking around, no strings attached, casual sexual acts along with a committed wife who really knows the things she is doing, then this is actually the internet site for you. Visit Prime Girl's website to enjoy a sneak speak with pretty MILFs now. Thank you, Prime Girls. Thank you for being a sponsor on our show.
What'd you make of that? What is the message from that?
I didn't understand anything I read.
I can tell. Because I didn't understand. If you didn't understand it, the audience didn't understand it. You didn't understand it.
I thought I had you fooled.
That's hilarious. Well, you sounded like you knew what you were talking about. I'm going to read it again. So, find your perfect online mate. Okay, find your perfect online mate with Prime Girls.
I read that.
No, I know. Are you interested in a wedding free from dependence or knowledgeable girls? That sentence doesn't make sense to me. Are you interested in a wedding free from dependence or knowledgeable girls? Free from, I don't know, dependent?
It could just be a practical joke on us from Rasamoto.
In that case, these sizzling women are precisely what you need. fulfill all their sexual desire by getting together with all these ladies as well as providing them with the things they are struggling to find online. This is certainly an enormous group. This is very funny. It's about, it's
It's
intimacy
reversal.
online.
It's a reversal.
And it is for private dates only, and therefore you must hold privacy your number one priority to connect these women. I think this was written in a rush, is what I'm going to say. I think it was written in a rush. These gals are going to guide you towards things you haven't actually heard of, and that's probably true.
That could be fun.
If you were looking around, no strings attached. If you were looking around, no strings attached, casual sexual acts. Along with this was written hurriedly, along with a committed wife who really knows the things she is doing, then this is actually the internet site for you. Visit Prime Girl's website to enjoy a speak with pretty milfs now.
This is what I think happened.
What?
Prime Girls paid Rasamoto double
Well,
to fuck this up, so we would read it twice
He
to
goes.
give them extra.
He has a little addendum to this. He says, "Okay, I'll admit, Prime Girls is from my junk mail. Don't be jealous because my inbox gets puss." So, all right, that's our first sponsor. A new one.
They got a tremendous amount of coverage on this podcast. Prime Girls, if you're listening, please remember that we like you enough to read this ad twice and break it down and analyze it.
Who the fuck, by the way, goes online and like has sex, quote unquote, which because it isn't real sex, with girls online? I mean, you want to talk about an empty.
That's not sex.
Well, you want to talk about what I'm talking about. Pleasure, right?
Right.
It's like a weird perverted pleasure or just a pleasure. I don't want to be a prude.
Panty sniffers always made me laugh. Guys who sniff, people who sniff panties. There's people out there who just want to sniff panties.
You don't do that?
No, that never turned me on. But there are people, maybe they're afraid of the actual physical, you know what I mean? I can only speculate as to why.
I don't know. I think we're going down
a bad.
I think we're going down a road
that's not paved.
That's not paved. Because I wanted to get back
to
rage. Sometimes I think my struggle is Sisyphean because I can't, because I didn't have the connection in early childhood that I needed. And Freud, not to drop names, Freud said that our primary relationships are formed before we're 5 years old, man. And what was your early childhood like? I mean, I was a pool hustler at 3.
Well, you were at the docks at 4, remember?
I was at the docks at 4, pool hustler at 3.
I mean, I don't know what happened then. I know I had 2 parents who loved me, but they hated each other. So, not hated each other, but they had.
And you had to pick that up.
Well, yeah, but not. I mean, I'm sure I did. Yeah, I'm sure I have some. I probably didn't have it as bad as you though, because you had more manic. You had crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. I think my parents.
My mom was bipolar, and that was just really difficult. Like I never had, and this isn't to brag, I never had that connection with my mother. That, But then again, I don't want to get into a victim thing because I can fall into that shit. Like, oh, I never had that deep connection. And then I'll hear somebody say something like, look, we all had it tough, get off the cross, we need the wood. You ever hear
right, yeah.
that saying?
Yeah. But there is some rage in there. It's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting to the faith, the spiritual side of it, there's rage there. So, like my rabbi, one of the rabbis that I
you don't have to drop. I
not
also
to brag.
know spiritual people.
Yeah. He would say you go in there, you go into that chamber, and you go in there and you try to deal with it. You go in there and try to find what it is that's bothering you and
well, talk about be a little more specific. I get that.
Whatever it is, don't face it with your ego. Try not to face it with your ego, because if you face it with
That's
your
good
ego,
advice.
it's going to touch a wound. It's going to just bring on shame or pain or rage or whatever it is. Try to go in there and find peace and try to...
You know what's wild? Is the ego is dominant in me. How about you?
I think you're pretty good, actually. Dude.
Really?
Yeah. I think
That makes my ego feel good.
It should, yeah. That's why I said it. I'm just placating you. I just want to medicate you with compliments.
Medicate. But now that's interesting. Medicate with compliments. That would be great. Like if a pharmacy, instead of like getting antidepressants, instead of getting Zoloft,
They just give out
they're like,
supportive.
what? Like, you don't need antidepressants.
You look great today.
You look tremendous. And by the way, you are one of the most insightful, intuitive, beautiful, put together people I know. And the only reason that you're not successful is that this world is a piece of shit. Next. The next guy comes up.
But here's the problem. You come back every month for the compliment. It's the same fucking compliment. So eventually it's a
good pharmacist mixes the compliments
But they're
up.
not. They're not. They're corporate. It's a pharma.
Oh.
It's big pharma.
Oh,
they're
if
just
it's-
four
well, no.
compliments going around to everybody. They're the same 4 compliments.
No,
it's
you
like
see,
an antibiotic.
You're missing the point. Even though maybe yours is funnier, that big pharma is undercut by the compliment.
Are you saying mine was funnier? Because
It might
that
be.
makes my ego.
It might
That
be.
helps my ego.
But yeah, so looking into your troubled heart
Yeah.
without ego, to do anything without ego is so difficult, isn't it? At least for me, it is.
But sometimes, don't you have moments where your ego's like it's like a placid, the river's placid. It's not. There's no ripples. You have moments like that, right? When you're in meditation or you, come on, you got to have moments like when I get upset, I try to step back and go, because I get upset for no reason, man. I'll start thinking about people and shit, and I'll start.
Really, that's
feeding.
rage, by the way.
I know.
That's rage.
I know. And then I'll try to step back and go, she's just hurt, and she doesn't mean any harm to me. It's something else. It has nothing to do with me. So sometimes I'm able to step back and go, this has nothing to do with it. Because most of the time it doesn't have anything to do with us.
It's about getting rejected.
You
Like-
think, really?
It's about it's about not feeling accepted, not feeling valued, I think. What do you think? Not feeling valued by another, not feeling...
Yeah. Because as you say that, 3 or 4 instances are popping right to mind of me not feeling like I belong, not feeling like you belong. I can remember back to like kindergarten, like being on the dirt playground and kids like alienating me I don't remember why, but I remember that vividly. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old.
You were already formed, according to Freud, by then.
By then?
That he said 0 to 5 is when you're, I think when you're self-love, whether you're going to be a healthy person or not is one way to put that. Whether you have enough, like, kind of value, whether you feel safe. This is the thing that parents, can give their kids, is for them to feel safe in being who they are. But you also have to have some discipline, because there's a lot of idiot fucking parents now, usually of the quote-unquote liberal variety. And I use the term liberal as, people who are not informed. Right-wingers who are listening, you're the scum of the earth. I just want, when I'm criticizing a liberal, it's because they're kind of phony liberals. They're not real.
The boutique liberal, as Chris Hedges would put it. Right.
Boutique liberalism.
That's such a great term, by the way. But when you were a kid, forget your parents. When you were in school, you had to fight your way out of. In Brooklyn, I was a little guy, and I had to act crazy in high school so people wouldn't pick on me. I'm not kidding. I act like a maniac.
What do you mean?
I would walk around with a look in my eye like I was going to kill somebody.
See, now to me, that's a horrible, and I totally get it. It's a horrible thing to have to be. Like you have to, in school, you have to walk around like you're going to kill somebody because you're afraid.
Right, that's exactly right.
But people leave you alone?
They left me the fuck alone. They left me the
you.
fuck alone.
I was the opposite. I walked around extremely frightened, but I was funny, and I was usually protected by bigger guys.
That's cool, man.
Not
Cool.
really.
I should show you a picture of my little league picture with all the kids. They're all giants, and I'm like this fucking
shit.
little. It's
How tall are you? 5'5"?
5'5".
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
You don't seem small to me. I guess that's
I appreciate that, Eddie.
You don't seem 5'5". You're like 5'6" to me.
Again, the compliments. You would have been a great pharmacist.
Hey, Emma, how many minutes are we in?
35.
35, good. Okay, so we also
some
get calls, as you guys know, and we have a bunch of calls. And if you want to leave a message for our esteemed podcast, please do. And you could leave that message as soon as I fucking pull it up. The number to leave the message is 424-262-0904. So if you want to leave a message for the podcast, any type of message, 424-262-0904. Hey, by the way, I wanted to. I should have said this up top, but I don't have any kind of structure to what I do, which is why I am where I am. But I'm going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan, April 4th, and then and look for the ticket links. I will post the ticket links. It's at a place called Shakespeare in Kalamazoo, and then I'm going to Detroit from there, and I'm going to be at Ant Farm or Ant Hill. I forget.
You're making it, man.
I forget which. It's a really cool theater though, like in Detroit. Ant Farm or Ant Hill. Look that up.
The Ant Hill Theater.
I just think it's so funny that I don't know. But yeah, these guys are cool who booked me, and it should be good time. So guys, please, come to those shows. Yeah. So here's some calls. Let's start with the first one. Here we go.
Lolly. I went on social media and I tried to find out more about you. I was really disappointed by your Instagram presence. You're supposed to be a celebrity. I don't know what I'm looking at here. And now I hear that you're mentoring somebody half your age who's in a relationship. You should be out there telling jokes, drowning in pussy. Instead, I hear about you. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. No sex in a year except some random Facebook hookup. You gotta believe in yourself, buddy. I don't know if Eddie's dragging you down or what, but you should have a lot more accomplished at this point in your career than where you're at now. I say this as somebody who started comedy this year. I did not realize you could be on a national podcast after 3 weeks in the business, so I'm going to start submitting my tapes. But believe in yourself, Lolly. Pick yourself up a little bit. It makes me sad to hear you not getting pussy and doing open mics. You're better than that. Prove it wrong. Bye.
What'd you think?
Man, he's just started comedy this year. It makes him sad to hear of me not getting pussy and doing open mics. Mm-hmm. Man, you got a long road ahead of you. You're going to be not getting pussy and doing open mics for a long fucking time. But I like the spirit of this guy, that he wants me to succeed. Mm-hmm. I am currently seeking representation, and I would be honored if you want to send Eddie your credentials, email him. I would be honored to look at you as potentially running my social media for me, because you could do better than I could.
Yes, so
Mainly,
please represent Steve if you can, sir. Did he leave a name?
No, he didn't. But also,
right.
even
we looked up the area code. It was from Jersey.
that was him. By the way, the girl who came on the podcast, she was my ride, and Eddie was just kind enough to say, "Hey, do you want to come on?" So that's how that happened. Because you didn't know, you didn't know the details of that. He thought that was an orchestrated plan to bring a 3-week comic on a podcast, but I thought she did pretty good.
I had no idea she had only been doing comedy 3 weeks, and when she said it, I And she was super nice.
She was good. Yeah.
And this is my thing about podcasts too. Like everybody is, booking experts. And this is another reason the podcast isn't that popular. But everybody's booking really good guests.
Right, and we've got.
We just have
whoever walks
somebody
in.
drove you.
Yeah.
Let's have them on.
Yeah.
But also I am going to up our guest game too. But I think a fucking human being is fine to have on the podcast.
She did pretty good for.
She's a human being, and she was great. Now here's another call. Here we go.
Wait.
Yeah,
I want to say this. That girl has a car, and she's really attractive, and she likes my comedy. So it's a perfect formula for me because she calls me up and says, "Where are we going?" And I go, "I wouldn't be going anywhere. I would just be staying home if it wasn't for you and your motivation and wanting to be, So you are not an attractive girl starting comedy. Otherwise, I would ask you to bring your New Jersey ass down here and drive me around and come on the podcast, okay?
But you might want him to manage you.
Yeah, that's true. But from a
So don't cut your...
From a distance.
Okay, here's another call. Here we go. Thank you for that call, sir. Lighting a fire under Lolly's ass.
Mr. Pepitone, I wanted to clue you into some things about the mutual religion to which we are both subscribed, namely Tibetan Buddhism. I'm a former kind of preordination level monk who was pretty involved with Tibetan Buddhism for the last 20 years. Technically a first wave millennial. I would love to talk with you about some Buddhist stuff if you like. I don't know why I'm doing this voice. I think it's just your answering machine message. Really threw me in a bit of a vocal tailspin there. So I'd love to talk to you. You can give me a call back. 20...
He was going to give his number, so I don't want to play that. But he was saying he would love, to talk about... Oh, but I'll finish up his call here. Oh, shit. Come on, you fucker.
To comedy improv classes, but I'd love to talk with you and stuff. And your audience sits at the intersection of a lot of things that are coming for the near and the far-term future as the planet collapses and society degrades and socio-political economic stability erodes from under our very feet. So try and stay positive and hope to talk to you, Eddie. Bye.
That was funny that I don't think he left his name, but he wants me to call him.
But that was a comic, dude.
Yeah, that was because he was doing that. He goes, I don't know why I'm doing that voice.
That's a great comic. I'm glad he at least tipped the cap because I would have believed that was a real guy. That was a great call.
Here's some more. Here's another call.
Hello, Eddie and Steve. Lolly. Wanted to give you guys a big thanks. You read our review, 5-star. Spawn Manui here. My wife and I do listen to you on our commute, and you do make it bearable. Episode 180, Solange Castro was awesome when she said, "Aw." But to my point, I am one of those cowards you talked about, Eddie. A 24-year veteran of the fire department. Public servants are cowards compared to stand-up comics. Not to brag. But I was also, on a side note, I was on the 2016 Utah firefighters calendar. Not to brag again. But getting to my point, I thought it was hilarious because I've also done a handful of open mics and running into a burning building when people are running out screaming when I have a boner was awesome. But getting up on an open mic night, throwing yourself out there, I was terrified and I was not sexually aroused at all because I was, it takes balls. So I think we should put actors, comedians, performers, musicians, all in a bunch with public servants, teachers, firefighters, policemen, police force, and we should mock all the other people who are weak, like librarians, fuck them. And, people who don't throw themselves out there. We should gang up on them and mock them publicly. Anyway, love the podcast. You guys are awesome. Thank you again. Have a good day.
Oh, that was great. You know what would be?
Well, that's really interesting. That I didn't know that firemen. And thank you. That was awesome. And we have a he has left another message too that we're going to play. First of all, congrats on the Salt Lake or the Utah calendar. I think Salt Lake is the big city out there, and it's beautiful in Utah. You know. But what was interesting too, several things were interesting. I'm glad you agree that people who aren't in show business are absolute just cowards. And I didn't know that firemen get erections running in and out of burning buildings. That's amazing.
I should have been a fireman.
Why?
So I would have that erection. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a sexual arousal either. Wouldn't it be funny?
Let's get back to.
Oh wait, wouldn't it be funny if
it's Dave. Dave from
first
Salt Lake.
responders, comedians were first responders, and it was all us heckling. Just fucking response was just some snarky remark. I don't know.
Our response, like if there was an accident, we would be running to the accident, asking people to follow us on Twitter, and I am going to be in Milwaukee the last week of April. I can't help you with anything else. Let's see. We have another ad, and this ad is from Sheetbox. Sheetbox is a monthly subscription service for fans of sheet material samples. Attention, wood laminate, plastics, and metal enthusiasts. You know who you are, and Sheetbox is here to deliver. Other sheet material sample boxes hand out flimsy 8 to 12 millimeter scraps in an unflattering 80 by 100 millimeter tile. Well, no more. Sheetbox samples are 100% 24 to 32 millimeter scraps at 4 by 5 inches. That's right, imperial sizings. 4 by 5 inches is a perfect size for framing or sending as a postcard to a friend or loved one. High-quality resins are quickly taking over. Epoxy, polyester, silicone, and polyurethane are the new kings of the schoolyard. Interesting that we were just talking about, being dominant in the schoolyard. And as luck would have it, March is Diamond Plate Resin Month. And if you sign up today, you will get a bonus sample sheet of tungsten carbide. We guarantee no fibers or fillers in our sample resins, just a pure sheet of semi-translucent goodness. Don't bring inferior material samplings to the product swatch game. No one wants to see your floppy veneers. It's 2019 and people demand the real deal. With Sheetbox, your collection of small-scale sample materials will make you the envy of your neighborhood. Validate your existence monthly with Sheetbox. Now that is a great sponsor. It's samples of different materials, and Sheetbox addresses an issue which I've been thinking about for a while, that high-quality resins are quickly taking over.
You know what the greatest thing about that ad was? I got to daydream about the girl who's. It's so great to be able to daydream about the girl, like an insurance seminar. That ad. Oh my gosh, you read it well though.
I didn't read it well. That
You
was
did.
a funny one, and I fucked it up a lot.
No, it wasn't funny.
But I really liked how, and these are written by Matt Rasamoto, and they are real ads, and we haven't gotten a dime from any one of our sponsors. I noticed that we're not doing that. What was that one that was an actual thing that you could writer's duet?
Writer duet.
Writer duet. I noticed that's gone.
Yeah.
That was maybe going to be some money. But that never came through. Did you ever get a check from Writer's Duet?
No, I never got a check from Writer Duet.
Boy, that would be great if I went into my mail. Oh, how hilarious, or how great would it be if I went into my mailbox and there were just checks from like Prime Girls and all these, face bags. Remember face bags?
Yeah. Oh, Chatsworth Actors Guild.
Chatsworth Actors Guild is a great guild.
You really should be the face of Chatsworth Actors
I think I
Guild.
should be with this look.
The CAG card. Have you got your CAG card? Well, I'm not going to advertise them now. But
Okay, I think. Oh, well, guess who is next? Our next sponsor is. That's unbelievable. We both didn't know. CAG. Chatsworth.
do you want me to do that?
I think you should do it.
All right.
And it's an awesome, awesome company. I want Steve to read this one.
Oh.
Wow.
CAG, you are my favorite. I want you to know that. I haven't gotten my CAG card yet, but supposedly in 21 months, I may show up in my... Anyway, if you want to make it in show business, you've got to have it. And if you don't, Eddie, then you got to know how to suck the stitching off a softball. And Chatsworth Actors Guild can help you with exactly one of those things. CAG graduates are known worldwide for excellence in performing arts whenever webcams are legal. And if you feel if your star needs a spotlight to shine, let CAG provide that light with a circle of shirtless Brazilian men. Film you with a flip-flop. Let me go back. And if you feel as if your star needs a spotlight
Let me go back
to
as one of our
shine.
greatest tropes in the advertising game. Let me go back. Why don't they let commercial actors do that? You know how much more palatable commercials would be? Hey, I didn't know I was good. They would be palatable if the actors showed themselves to be anything but these horrible two-dimensional assholes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And if you feel as if your star needs a spotlight to shine, let CAG provide that light while a circle of shirtless Brazilian men film you with flip phones in the burnt-out trailer of your dreams. Let your star shine by enrolling today in your local CAG. The contact information is in the podcast description, which can be deciphered with a simple understanding of Kabbalah, numerology, and Ron Jeremy's IMDb page. Once you've figured out the riddle outlined above, write your answer with your phone number on a 4x5 tile made of solid tungsten carbide. Tape it to $50 and a DVD of the 1976 classic, Sharon in the Rough. Put everything inside a CPR dummy located in a shopping cart in the parking lot of the Norwalk Chuck E. Cheese, then hide inside the bathrooms. If you're approached by an automatically correct version of Chuck E. Cheese's Pasquale P. Pepilate, you are only 7 robotic inches away from fame. Chatsworth Actors Guild, acting at its finest. Thank you, Matt. That always makes me smile.
Yeah, what did you think? I mean, Chatsworth, it seems like, it's a good guild, no?
I would prefer to have a CAG card from a SAG card. Because at least with CAG, you can, you can do podcasts, you can...
So, thank you, Chatsworth Actors Guild. And if you want to get into show business, that is definitely an avenue, It is, as Scott Peck would say, the road less traveled. And anybody who knows anything about self-help knows that book. It's a good one. It's kind of what I'm talking about, that if you pursue pleasure, you will end up in the shitter. You will end up not well. You have to take the road less traveled, which is
all the difference.
All the difference.
By the way, speaking of pleasure, have you met Ron Jeremy?
I haven't. He looks like there's nothing behind the eyes.
No, man.
I've met him because he's into comedy, and so I've seen him in a couple of shows, and there's I don't know what's going on there, but he didn't look good both times I saw him.
Right. So I'm just
what's your take on?
Well, I mean, there couldn't
Ron
be
Jeremy, for those of you who don't know, was a porn star,
right,
for many years. His nickname was the Hedgehog.
Yeah. So the Hedgehog, the man got to act out the man's fantasy of having sex with thousands of women, tens of thousands, more women than fucking what's his name, Wilt Chamberlain probably had sex with, and that guy's not present. He's gone. So it just goes to your pleasure.
About the pleasure
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, porn is just a big addiction, and it's You know, it's a nightmare. And okay, so well, how many minutes are we in, Emma? 55. Oh, okay, we're wrapping up. Let's go to Steve's last call. We also wanted to talk about also the complete how America is completely and utterly corrupt. The cheating, the college cheating scandal.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to say about that?
Oh, I hated college. I thought it was bullshit when I was 18.
And we hate the Ivy
Garbage.
League bullshit.
Fuck those people. And the idea that your kid is better. This whole American lie that's been perpetrated that your kid is better because they went to the school and studied at
But the Ivy League schools exist to groom the rich,
to network so their kids
yes,
can network with
and
other...
all the and to groom the rich. They're handed, you know, they're handed CEO jobs. They're handed all these jobs because they've gone to Ivy League schools, and it's a culture of shit.
It's a culture of shit, of mediocrity, raised to the levels of critical praise.
And now, you know, this scandal coming out that guys like, I don't get it, because William H. Macy is a great actor, right? And his wife, Felicity Huffman, I don't know. But Macy, I love. Huffman, I've seen her. I think she's a good actress too. She's on shitty shows like Desperate. What was that show that she got famous on? I think it was. Emma, do you know that show? I think it's Desperate Housewives, which, you know, I wasn't a fan of. And anyway, like, why is William H. Macy bribing someone to get his kid into a fucking Ivy League school? Like, you know, I just don't get this whole,
well, but it's good. It's a good thing because
Why?
the people who I grew up around, they worshiped that status. Even my own parents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so-and-so's going to this school. You know, and
rage. By the way, that's rage. That's rage coming from Lolly.
Yeah,
and some rage, I think, is
it's a righteous rage, dude.
Yeah,
it's a righteous rage.
Yeah,
and it's such bullshit, and people worship it, and now they have to be faced with the fact that they were fucking stupid and they bought into a lie. Mm-hmm. And George fucking W. Bush graduated from Yale. If you couldn't figure it out then, I don't know what to fucking tell you, but.
Yeah, George Bush. Yeah, so this whole thing about bribing kids to get into, and it's not only Ivy League, like USC, UCLA, which is, you know, like, you know, these colleges. First of all, you know, academia has become another arm of the corporate state, so they don't even teach fucking anything interesting, and academia has. You know, it's like technical college. You know, you don't have people studying the great philosophers. People should just be fucking studying Nietzsche and Spinoza and Kant, you know, and Schopenhauer and, you know, poets like Mary Oliver and just great poets, you know, the humanities. Instead, everybody wants to get into Goldman Sachs and study computers.
The hippies had it right when they said burn down the fucking math building. They didn't trust authority. They didn't trust the establishment. They didn't trust colleges. Burn down the fucking math building, right? Late 60s, early 70s. And all those people are now, you know, we're left with are these fraudulent college professors and corporate feminists and censorship liberals. And you know, fuck these people, man. I can't stand them. I don't like them.
All right, we have another call. Dave left us one more message. Let's give that a listen.
Hey guys, this is Dave from Salt Lake City again. I called and left a message a couple days ago. That was directed for Eddie and Steve because I'm familiar with your sick sense of humor. But I wanted to call and leave a message more geared to the show and your audience, and I wanted to share a perspective. So here we go. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Steve. This is Dave from Salt Lake City. Thanks for the shout-out for the 5-star review my wife and I gave you on iTunes. And it was episode 180. Solange's awe was very sweet, so thank you for that. But I called to share a perspective with you guys and your audience. A little bit about my background. Well, according to Eddie, I would be a professional coward. Yeah, so I've been a firefighter for 24 years, and not to brag, so a very seasoned coward. Eddie's bit was very funny on that episode about calling for first responders, teachers, cowards, and because they don't have the balls to do stand-up comedy. And it was funny because I wanted to share my perspective on that joke. But a little fun fact about me, I was in the 2016 firefighter calendar. And again, this is not to brag. It's not to make you guys feel like shit about your shitty lives, because it's not all it's cracked up to be. Eddie, you were right. I had a to-do list, and I could not get shit done because I had women lunging at me the minute I walked out the door. So anyway, it's not, now I digress. But anyway, not to brag. So I wanted to talk to you about, let's say I dipped my toe into the stand-up world. I've done about 15 or so open mics over the last several years, just for me, just to get out of my comfort zone, just to push myself and test myself. And I got to tell you, it was terrifying. Yeah, and I have mad respect for all you guys do, and stand-up world, it's not easy. And talk about feeling naked in front of people, my hell. But you might say, Dave, isn't it scary to go into a burning building? And at least for me, I'm going to say no. Because I always really had a big boner, and I guess fear was distracted. And so, yeah, I would say no. But anyway, I just wanted to say you guys are awesome. I love the podcast. Love what you guys do. And I'm going to let you guys go because I'm sure Eddie needs to probably eat some fucking kale chips and have some sleepy time tea or whatever kind of bullshit he's doing today and praying to a God with no face. Steve, was glad to hear that you finally got your carrot wet. So that's awesome. Hopefully it won't be another year before you have that happen again. But anyway, I got to go into this rib place. They're having an all-you-can-eat night, and I got to do some damage in there. So anyway, love you guys.
Oh, thank you, Dave. That was a great message, and I'm glad Dave came to the realization of what I've talked about for a long time, which is that people who are not in show business don't have guts.
It was like he was working out his first message on his second message.
It was great, though, and thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you a lot. And let's see. So now, all right. We're going to end her here. On the last podcast, we mentioned how Kaiser Soze gave us 5 stars, and now he has knocked us down to 1 star. He is playing with our hearts. You can toy with our emotions by liking us on SoundTube, subscribing on Face Tweets, and rating us on iTunes. Ja Living gave us 5 stars on iTunes, saying, quote, awesome podcast, love it, thank you. Longtime supporter Nero Gunderson. Hi, Nero. Nero's great. He's a big time. Commented on YouTube, 10 stars, 20 stars, maximum stars. And Moloch Frolics asked us to never read the comments for our own health and sanity, but it is obviously too late. And a special thanks to Pep Talk superfan Miles Walsh. I love Miles, who is now liking our producer Matt Rasamoto's tweets, which isn't typically a good sign. Thoughts and prayers, buddy. Thoughts and prayers. We are almost at 200 subscribers on YouTube, so if one of you can make 4 fake accounts really quick, that would be great for me emotionally. I've been going through a lot since birth, which I talked about on this podcast today, and social media bots are the only thing keeping me together these days. Bots and my collection of small-scale sample materials. And our engineers are Emma Erdbrink, who is in the studio today, and Aaron Brungardt. Our producer, as we've mentioned, Matt Rasamoto. Leave a message for us at 424-262-0904. Fan mail, you could do at fanmail@peptalkspodcast.com. Facebook, fb.me/Pepitone fans, even though it's down today. And hopefully we'll be down forever. YouTube, Pepitonepodcast.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And I
have one final shout out. It's my mom's birthday today. Oh. Mom, I know I beat you and Dad up on this podcast, but I love you, and I'm wishing you an amazing happy birthday from Burbank, California, where we have perfect weather. I love you. Happy birthday.
All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye.